Hello and welcome to Blank Plate, a podcast for Swifties with an appetite.
I'm Sara, and I used to be a little kid with glasses in a twin-size bed.
I'm Laura, and I'm a mess, but I'm the mess that you wanted.
And we've got a blank plate, baby, and we'll write your name.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
Hello. How's everybody doing?
We're surviving out here.
We are surviving.
Yes. I think we should just go right to what's on our plates, and I'll start first.
Yeah. All right. Well, I also just wanted to mention up top, reminder to anybody listening. If you don't care about our personal lives, that's fine.
That's fine. Skip. Skip us.
We always include the chapter breakdown so you can skip ahead to Taylor Talk. Totally get it if you're just here for that. Just wanted a little reminder because we're about to talk about like a lot of personal stuff up to.
Yeah. So like from the jump, if you're like, I'm not interested, or I'm just here to talk about wish list and trad wife allegations, skip ahead.
Bye. We'll see you later.
See you later. Good point. We should reference that more often. Because I remember My Favorite Murder, and everyone would be like, I hate that they talk so much at the beginning, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, that's us.
I know.
Now.
But like, I'm one of those people who's like, no, I love that part.
I know. I love a 2-hour-long podcast. What's wrong with that?
And tell me about your life. I want to know. So,
So if you've stuck around, here we go. Mine is not that serious, but as far as what's on my plate, nothing fun because I have gestational diabetes. Okay. So goodbye to my Taco Bell runs and McDonald's fries after school. Goodbye to carbs and sugar because
Wait, you eat McDonald's fries?
Yeah.
Laura, they are the worst fries I've ever had in my life.
McDonald's fries are categorically the best French fries.
No. Have you had Sheets?
I have, and that's disgusting. Honestly, wait, hold on. I need everyone in the comments to correct Sara, okay?
Listen,
McDonald's French fries categorically have the best fast food French fries.
Listen, I will admit, I almost never eat McDonald's because I don't like it. But
me neither before this pregnancy.
But like in the last year or two, the last time I tried McDonald's fries, I straight up was like, I will not eat them. They're trash.
Listen, no, you need to try it again, okay? Fresh out the fryer, salted, like they hit, okay? With a Diet Coke.
That would help. That would help.
No.
Have you had KFC fries?
I have, but no.
Laura, we are on different wavelengths here.
Okay, categorically, it is, like, say the word categorically again. Okay, McDonald's is number 1 for me. Number 2, Chick-fil-A. Who knew a waffle fry could hit like that? Okay?
I still boycott Chick-fil-A.
I understand that, but I also feel like all my gay friends eat Chick-fil-A, so...
I know, it's like the one thing I can't let go of. I'm like, no, I'm not going to eat that.
Are they even conservative anymore? That's a great question. Hold on, let me look this up real quick.
Because I boycott them because they have done like active harm to LGBTQ+.
Okay. The company donated to opposing groups of same-sex marriage, publicly opposed to it. Around 2019, Chick-fil-A stopped funding organizations that were anti-LGBTQ+, shifting focus to education, homelessness, and hunger. Recently, conservatives criticized the company for its DEI initiatives and executives, accusing it of abandoning its traditional values. So we're going to mix messages here, Chick-fil-A. Anyway.
Listen, I'm holding a Taylor Swift grudge on this one.
That's fine. But I will say their waffle fries.
I mean, I've had them before, in the before times, before I knew about all this. Yeah, they were good. They're
pretty good.
Yeah.
And I don't know what my number 3 is, but it's definitely not Sheets.
Dude, Sheets with the nacho cheese sauce?
Okay, wait. Taco Bell fries? Don't sleep on the Taco Bell fries.
I'll have to try them.
They have like this nacho. Yeah, it's good.
When you're no longer gestationally diabetes, we should have a takeout fry taste off.
Don't tempt me with a good time. I'll be ready. Okay. Yeah. I literally told Luke after this baby is out of me, after the placenta is gone, I'm going to have a standing order. Okay.
No, seriously, we should do like a blind taste off.
I would love it. I'm down.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm down. So now my house is full of everyone is diabetic except my husband,
Yeah, because you
including
and
my
Vinny.
cat. So,
Listen, Vinny
yeah.
needed a diabetes buddy.
I was laying on the couch. Vinny was laying with me. Luke came home, and I said, just two diabetises laying on the couch.
Two bitches.
Hello.
Although
Here we are.
Vinny is a male, but he can be an
That's
honorary
okay. That's okay.
bitch.
He doesn't have his parts anymore, so you know.
Right.
But it's rough times over here because the hormones are pumping. I'm hungry nonstop. And, I just can't eat anything except protein and veggies. I have my diabetes class tomorrow. I have required to attend. I have to start pricking my finger. But it's all short term.
So, like, why is this an issue, though? Because, like, your baby could end up being huge or something?
So size is an issue. And also they can have metabolic issues. Like, think about the fact that, like, this baby's, like, constantly ingesting, like, these sugars.
Yeah.
Right? Because your, like, placenta and, like, everything isn't doing what it needs to do, right?
Yeah.
And then it just, like, stops because all of a sudden the placenta isn't, like, supporting them anymore.
Okay.
And then they could crash. They could have metabolic issues. They could have they could have diabetes. They could have other long-term, issues like that. So, like, you don't want that. But, like, if monitored, most babies are fine. But it does suck. So,
yeah.
You can play the world's smallest violin for me for the next few weeks. So,
hey, at least it only happened now. You've got, like, 2 months, right?
I will say, because I'm a foodie and, like, I have friends who are foodies, multiple people have sent me pictures of, like, delicious meals over the last few days, including you.
I'm so sorry.
You weren't the only person. But, like, most people are like, just stopped at, like, Issei, look at these noodles. And I'm just like, oh my God, they look so good. Sarah did to me yesterday with, like, a sub and, like, eggplant fries. And I was like, oh my God, that looks so good.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all good.
Oh my
But yeah,
God.
I cannot wait to gorge once this baby is done.
Yeah.
There's going to be no bounce back. There is no snap back going on. Okay. I need 3 weeks of carbs.
No. And you will deserve it. So.
Yeah. So anyway, that's mine. So.
Okay.
There you go.
Well, so my update is that for anyone following along on the IVF stuff, I did have my second embryo transfer in December. And it technically failed again. So, technically it was what's called a chemical pregnancy. And Laura, like, did you know had you ever heard that before I talked about it?
Yes, because I talked to ChatGPT a lot, basically, about it.
Okay.
Because even when I was thinking I might be pregnant, they were like, it could be a chemical you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Okay.
And that's when I learned about it initially. But, like, for the people, please explain.
Yeah. Okay. So a chemical pregnancy, I would say, like, the best way to describe it is like a super, super early miscarriage. It's like I technically got pregnant, like the HCG pregnancy hormone technically rose. But then, like, something, like, immediately went wrong, like whether the implantation was not complete or the embryo just, like, had something weird going on. So it basically, like, stops developing and the pregnancy is gone. So, like, honestly, I was probably pregnant for a total of, like, 4 days.
Right.
Or something.
So you chemically were able to produce the pregnancy hormone.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that something happens after that where it stops.
Yeah, it's like at the most basic scientific level I got pregnant, but it's like barely. It's like kinda. Which is why it's also weird for me because now I've technically been pregnant, but it doesn't feel like I have been at all. So, and the other thing about it is, like, people have chemical pregnancies all the time, but usually you have no idea because, like, even for me, like, my HCG levels were never high enough to get a positive on a home pregnancy test. So, like, if I had not been doing IVF and doing blood tests to check my HCG levels, we never would have known that I was pregnant. So Yeah, like usually if someone has a chemical pregnancy like this, they might just have their period be a couple days late. And they're like, oh, my period was a little late. That's weird. But they, wouldn't have known they were pregnant. And even if they did a home pregnancy test, probably
It still
wouldn't
would
have
be
gotten a
negative.
positive.
Right.
So they're usually missed. But in IVF, we catch them because we're doing a blood test. But yeah, honestly, it sucked really bad. My blood test to see if I was pregnant was on the morning of Christmas Eve. And so there was like a lot riding on this. I was like,
the worst timing imaginable.
Yeah, Christmas is either going to be really exciting and like hopeful and joyful, or it's going to be a real bummer. And it was kind of like this in between place because, I woke up early that morning at like 3 a.m. I had to pee and I wanted to do a home pregnancy test. And when I woke up at 3, I was like, oh, God, I guess I need to do it now. Cause like it's best to do it with your first pee of the day. So, and of course, like my mind's already going at that point. So I'm like, I'm just going to do it. And it was negative. So like not even a faint line or anything. So I was like, either I'm not pregnant or I'm like kind of pregnant, but like it's not good. Like if it's that low that it's showing a negative, then it's not good. So I was already really upset. And then I had to go in and do the blood work. And then my results came in and I could see. So it's basically like anything like over 5 is considered positive. So like less than 5 or like less than 3 is negative, and that's where you typically are. um, and where I was at in my transfer cycle, I should have had a number of like 25 to 50 or higher. And my number was 8.3. So just barely pregnant. And at that point, it's like sometimes you have a pregnancy that will just start really low and it's just slow growing. And so then you test again 48 hours later and see if it's like doubling the way it's supposed to be. So I tested again on the 26th and the number went down to 6.9. So that confirmed like, yeah, this is not viable. Like the pregnancy is already gone. Your HCG levels are going back down to 0. So I promptly bought a box of brownies and ice cream to have.
As you should.
Yeah. But yeah, so Christmas was really weird because I don't know, like the fact that I was technically pregnant, like made it a lot easier than I thought it would be because it was like a silver lining, like, okay, well, at least we know I can get pregnant. Like something worked. Like we figured out the timing.
It felt like a step in the right direction.
Yeah. It felt better than like just a full blown negative, like the first transfer. So, and like I still had a little bit of hope on Christmas where I was like, well, maybe it's going to rise. Like maybe it's just one of those, statistics that just starts low. But honestly, with the numbers, like my first number, there's like an 80% chance that it's not a viable pregnancy. So
yeah,
I think I was like living in a little bit of a delusional bubble on Christmas, but that's okay because it made me able to enjoy Christmas more.
Right.
So, yeah, but that really sucked. And currently, actually this week, we had one mystery embryo that like when they tested my embryos, the one came back no result because the biopsy they took just didn't have enough information. So we don't know if that embryo is viable or not. And so I decided I wanted to get that one tested now to know, like, do I have 2 embryos left or 3 embryos left?
Right.
So that's actually getting tested this week. So I should know within like a week what the deal is with that.
You don't know anything about that embryo at all besides the fact it's just there.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah. So we'll find out the gender of that one and if it's viable. So
I just have to say, you're the strongest person I know. It's not fair.
It really,
as someone
really
who
sucks.
just like is not experiencing it firsthand, but just like through secondhand, it's just like, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it. And I'm
I
going to
don't know
cry.
either.
But you're the strongest person I know, and life's not fair. And you deserve to be a mom. That's all I have to say about it.
Thank
So
you.
it's
Well,
just
now
been really
cry.
hard. Sorry. What is it without us crying on the podcast?
I know. Of course we're going to cry. I figured I would probably cry a little bit, but
yeah.
It does. It really, really sucks.
Yeah.
I realized recently that like infertility is so interesting. Like some people compare it to like a chronic illness because, well, in a way it kind of is a chronic illness. But like it's just this thing constantly going on in the background of your life, but you're just like continuing your life
Right.
and doing things and like.
And you're expected to just like carry on like everything's normal. Yeah.
Yeah. And like in my life, I would say like the hardest thing I've experienced, like trauma wise, like personal trauma, is my divorce that I went through. Because I mean, I think divorce in any sense is probably pretty traumatic. Um, like I really believe that because my divorce was technically amicable, but it's like the biggest trauma in my life. But it
Yeah.
like, but the way that happened in my life was so sudden. It was like falling off a cliff. It was like all of a sudden my life changed, and then it had this
Right.
like ripple effect that kind of like dissipated. But when I think back to that, it's like a moment in time. And with this, it kind of feels like the opposite. It's like a slow burn trauma. It feels like I'm
Mm-hmm.
climbing this like trauma mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like you start out like, oh crap, we have to do IVF. That really sucks. And then for me, it was like, oh, I have to use donor eggs because I don't have any. So that sucks. Let me process that. Let me grieve that. And then, you know, every little step, like, first embryo transfer fails. And
Mm-hmm.
then like, oh, we have to push this back. We have to do more testing. Oh, I have to do that test again. And then second transfer. I'm pregnant, but not really. Okay. And then like, it's just
Yeah.
like,
Every step is.
yeah, and with each setback, it feels worse. It grows. It's like snowballing of trauma. And like the other thing that really sucks right now is we're having like a hiccup with our insurance. So our good insurance through Josh's new job does not start until March. So already I was like, well, that means I have to wait until March to do anything for my next transfer. Whereas like this whole time with this whole IVF thing, I have been like, go, 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 go. Like I do not take time to rest or breathe because I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have time. I don't have time. And like time stresses me out in this process. So like other people I know, they're like after a failed transfer or whatever, sometimes I just need to take a break. I need like a month or two off to like not think about it. But for me, I'm like, no, I'm going to be thinking about it. So let's do
Yeah.
something about it. Like I need to feel like I'm taking steps to reach the end goal. And so for me to take time off is like really annoying. Plus,
Yeah.
I'm also like doing the math in my head of like, okay, well, if my transfer is here, then if I get pregnant, then due date is here. And then like, how old will all my friends' kids be? How old will my nephew be? Like, thinking about how old will I be? You know, like
Mm-hmm. The
you
mental
do
math. Yeah.
you do all this like pregnancy IVF math in your head. So I have to wait till March, which sucks. But then on top of that, I talked with my doctor about things we want to try for this next transfer to improve my chances even more. Like we're basically throwing like the entire book at it. Like because I have limited embryos, and I'm someone who's likes to be proactive. I'm like, we need to treat this as if my body is the reason that this happened and not that it was just like a fluke with the embryo.
Right.
So we need to give my body basically like every drug that could possibly prevent this.
I'm there with you.
And I will take them all. And the good thing is like they're not harmful. but it can, cause like stress. You might have like some side effects or whatever, but it's not harmful.
And it's more work.
More work. Yeah. So, but one of the things we're doing is one of the drugs that I did for like a short protocol as part of my last transfer. I'm now going to be taking that drug for a full 2 months before my next transfer cycle. So that pushes everything back even more.
Right.
And that drug that I have to do is going to put me into like deep, deep menopause. So I may also be like miserable on that drug. So it's just, I'm really mad about all that. I'm really mad.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I'm so
It's
mad.
very
And like,
frustrating.
the crazy thing is too, like I was saying about all the like mental math of this is like, I've never in my life started a year before feeling like that year is already passed. Like my brain is in 2027 because if I get pregnant this year, like there's not going to be a baby in my life this year. Like that's the thing that really sucks is like I was really hoping to be pregnant for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Technically I was, but not really. Which means I'm also looking ahead to Christmas 2026 like, oh my God, we might have a baby at Christmas. And like, so then you get a couple months into this year and I'm forecasting ahead to when my next transfer would be. I'm like, oh yeah. Like due date is 2027. If I'm even lucky enough to get pregnant for the third transfer. Like, so it's like I'm sure I'll feel different if I do get pregnant this year. But like right now where I'm at, my brain is in 2027 and 2026 is already written off the calendar. Like it's gone. Like, okay, and 2026 will be another year of my life that we don't have a baby.
It could be the year that you're pregnant, though.
It
could be.
It fucking better be, Laura.
I mean, yes. I guess what I'm saying is what you said earlier. I understand. I know exactly what you're talking about because your brain is like, nothing of importance is happening in 2026 that I want to like.
Yeah, like the end goal will not be in 2026.
Right. But I guess my glimmer of hope is that potentially you'd be on the path to getting there.
Yeah. That's why like I do think like if I get pregnant and it's going well, I won't feel this way anymore.
Yeah.
But from where I sit right now, it just and the craziest thing to me is that like all 3 of my transfers will have been 6 months apart. And
which
for
is
someone
like
who like likes to like
that's not your nature. Yeah.
No. And also like compared to anyone else like trying to get pregnant just like the normal way, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can try every month, but like in a full calendar year, I will have had 3 chances to get pregnant. And the amount of work and money that I have to do in order to do that is
insane.
Just crazy. Like, and I'm also reaching this point of my infertility process where I will have had multiple friends get pregnant and give birth in the time that I've been doing all this. Which like, that's why like, I think like before doing all of this, when I had friends who were pregnant, like their pregnancies seemed like so long.
Mm-hmm.
But like your pregnancy, I'm like, it feels so fast to me.
Same.
Because like,
but,
compared to like everything I've been doing to just try to get pregnant, I'm like, oh yeah, Laura's only just like been pregnant for like a short blip.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, your experience has gone longer than mine. I mean, it's just been insane. And then like with Becky, like my sister-in-law, like you had your first transfer around the same time, didn't you?
She and I did our egg retrievals at the same time.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just the thing about the pregnancy like math in your brain is that it's easy to think in 9-month chunks. It's easy to think in like 2-month chunks now with you. It's like, well, we're starting in March. Well, really it's May.
Yeah.
And then in May it's like add 9 months.
Right.
You know, it's all that mental math. And not to mention all the like, I mean, good God, how many shots have you given yourself?
Oh my God.
Like, seriously.
Well, hopefully this one shot, the drug I'm going to do for 2 months, hopefully my insurance will cover the version of the shot that I do one shot per month.
I hope so, for your sake.
Because, like, I thought it was going to be a daily shot like I was doing before. And my doctor told me, she's like, oh, we'll try to do this one shot per month. And I was like, oh.
One a month?
And she's like,
has this always been an option?
My doctor was basically like, girl, were you going to like give yourself a daily shot every day for 2 months? I was like, well,
you were like,
yeah.
I was prepared to.
I'm like, I'm used to this by now. Like, what? Okay. At least it's the easy shot, you know?
How do these doctors, like, the emotional toll of like what this process is like, how do they do that?
I don't know. And like my nurse too, like
how do they have these conversations over and over, like, and seeing so much heartbreak?
Yeah.
You know, like,
especially for these fertility doctors, because I think it's kind of like veterinarians. You're like, I love animals.
Right.
Or you're like, I want to help people get pregnant. But then you're just like constantly delivering bad news to people.
I just time. Like, I can't imagine that job is great, to be honest with you.
I also wonder, like, the people who like do the blood work and the ultrasounds and stuff, like, are they looking at me like, oh God, this girl's been here a long time. She just keeps coming back.
Yeah. Because they may have people that have been in there for like 4 or 5 years, like longer than you. Who knows?
There probably are. That's why like our, Becky, your sister-in-law, her IVF process was actually like the best outcome you could ever have.
Bam. Yeah.
She did one egg retrieval and then one embryo transfer and she was done.
Just as someone who hasn't gone through IVF, which is someone who like has, experienced a lot of like the knowledge and education of what IVF actually looks like, people need to stop talking about IVF as like the end all be all solution of things. Like we've already talked about this on the podcast, but like don't ever have the words, well, at least there's IVF as an option, come out of your lips, because honestly, it's not okay.
Yeah.
Like seriously.
Yeah.
People act like, well, it's that'll solve all the problems. It's like, actually, like not all the time. And also, do you know how intense that, like, some people I'm sure have gone through one transfer, it fails, and they're like, you know what? I can't do this for a while. Like, take a long time for themselves, like mentally, emotionally. So like, I'm tired of like people being like, it's so amazing what IVF can do. That is true. But also like, stop talking about it like it's just going to like fix everything.
And that's why I've been so adamant about talking about this process while I'm in it and sharing, because I think that's the problem is people see these IVF babies and they're like, oh, look at that, an IVF baby, when like they have no idea what someone went through to get there.
Right.
Like I have a friend who had reached out to me when I started sharing. She just had her baby, but they were doing IVF for 3 years and her baby was her 6th transfer. And all the 5 ones before that were negative. She didn't even have any chemical pregnancies like I did. And I'm like,
insane.
I even said to her, I'm like, it takes a lot of strength to like keep going. You know, like I've had 2 failed transfers now, and like it's just so terrifying going into the next one when you've had that experience, especially with the time and money that goes into it. It's so scary.
Yeah.
But like I also saw, I get a lot of IVF TikToks now, and there was one person who was like, when everyone tells you like you're so strong or whatever, like you tell me I'm strong, right? My mom tells me, plenty of other people, but then it's like, well, what's the other option?
Right.
You know, like, and at least for me and my personality, like I hate needles. I hate shots. How many shots have I given myself? You know, but like, what's the other option? Just not do anything? That's not me.
Right.
You know, so it's like, I mean, I guess some people just don't do anything, but like, it doesn't feel like I'm not like, I'm so strong, I can do this. I'm like, oh, this is what I have to do, so I'm going to do it. You know?
Yeah. Well, one day when you're holding your baby, you're going to look back and be like, oh my God, that was insane. And then you'll recognize it. But right now,
that's what I hope. Yeah.
You're checking things off the list. You're getting things done. You're doing whatever the next step is, climbing the next mountain.
Yeah. So yeah, right now I am in, especially like February, I'm like really in a place of like, well, all I can really do is like take care of myself, try to relax, get some stuff done around the house or whatever. Also, I'm like selling my house, my former home. So that's like a big stressor right now.
Yeah, you've got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Besides this too.
Right. But to lighten the mood a little bit, I have to shout out. I gotta shout out. My saving grace right now is heated rivalry.
Okay. Listen, I am intentionally saving this.
Okay, you have to watch it.
For March through June when I am holed up and it's just me.
Okay. It's only 6 episodes.
I know. But I know it's going to be so good.
It's so good. It's so good. And like, I'm one of these people who I honestly, like, I kept seeing stuff about it, right? Everyone's talking about it. And then I got to a point where I was like, okay, I need to avoid spoilers. I don't want to know like too much about it. I want to just watch it.
Yeah.
So I went into it just kind of knowing like, oh, it's this like gay hockey show. Like, it's this like pretty raunchy gay hockey show.
Uh-huh.
And then it's like this bait and switch where like by the end, I've said to so many people now, this is truly one of the best stories that I've seen played out on screen in a very long time. It's like,
and
it's so sad. It's not even eligible for Emmys because it's a Canadian show.
Oh no. Boo.
Yeah. And the guy who plays the Russian, who's incredible, is not eligible for like the Canadian awards because he's not Canadian. So like, this is like,
come on, guys.
The greatest thing this guy could, like, if this guy never did anything else, you would be like, he's one of the greatest actors we've ever seen. Okay.
Well, I love that it's Canadian because we know the Canadians love their hockey.
It's Canadian. It's small budget. It's the cinematography, the music.
Let this light up all the gay romances that have gone to the back burner in all the celebrity cinema houses because
seriously,
the women want it. The gays and the she's and even the girls and the gays. The girls and the gays
men are falling in love with the show.
Yeah, bring it on.
Because it's so good. But I think what really made me realize how good it was because it's the show itself, right? But then it's all the TikToks about the show and about the press tour, the two main actors. Yeah. 2 main actors. And then also I've been listening to podcast recaps of it. I am so obsessed. But like when you see the 2 actors in real life as their actual personalities, you realize how good they are at acting because they are so different from their characters.
You're like, wait, you're not Russian?
Yeah. And the guy doing the Russian, he only started learning Russian a week before filming. And he was still waiting tables in LA 2 weeks before he started filming.
See, this is
now
what
his life
dreams
has
are made of. This is what dreams are made of.
Yeah. I'm telling you, like, everyone needs to watch it. And I haven't seen a single bad word uttered about this show.
Love it.
And nobody should. I'll come for you.
I'm purposely like, sorry we can't talk more, but I'm purposely saving it because I know I'm going to love it.
No, and I told my friend, I have a friend who like wants to watch it, but she's like not in the right headspace for it with like everything going on in the world, which like I totally get.
Totally
I've been there before. But I told her, I was like, I honestly feel like this could heal you at least temporarily.
It could heal all of us if we just gave it the chance. Yeah.
So that's my little tangent about heated rivalry. I had to mention it.
Love it.
So if anyone wants to DM me and talk about it, I'm here.
She gave us some levity, people. Heated rivalry.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, well, our episode today is on wish list, so we thought we'd share our New Year's resolutions. I think both of us have pretty short and sweet resolutions. Yeah. Mine is to journal every day in my little Hobonichi planner. And it's been going well. I'm not giving myself too much rules or stipulations, just has to get done within the 24 hours of the day. I could write one word, I could write lists, I could junk journal, I could write I'm tired, and then that's it. And other than that, my job is to survive this year. So that's it.
Well, on the journal front, I have to shout out that I started the final year of my 1 line a day journal. So we'll link to this in our show notes, but it's a journal that like every page is for 1 day of the year, but there's sections for 5 different years.
Right. So it's 5 years, 1 line a day.
Yeah. And I do it as like kind of a gratitude journal. Like I try to always write down 3 things about my day that were just kind of like nice or different or exciting. Sometimes I write sad things in it, but I try not to.
Mhm.
But, something like my embryo transfer failed. Yeah, I'm going to put
That's
that in there.
monumental.
Yeah. So, yeah, but yeah, so I started it in 2022, right? 23.
Must be.
Yeah. Yeah. So I love it because like when you're filling out the day, you can see what you did on that same day the 4 years prior. And if I do get pregnant in 2026, it'll be amazing because I started this book when I was like truly single and like just like starting to date. So it was like before I met Josh, and then I like met Josh, got engaged, got married,
A
moved to
lot of
Allentown,
changes. Yeah.
started IVF, and then maybe by the end I'll be pregnant, which would be crazy.
Here's hoping.
A lot can happen in 5 years.
Yep.
So, that's super cool. But yeah, otherwise, my goal is to get pregnant, which is the same as last year. And on New Year's Eve, my sister-in-law put in the family group chat, like, what's everyone's New Year's resolutions? And I wrote, get pregnant.
Period.
And then right after I sent that, I was on TikTok and I saw this guy had a video where he's like, what's your New Year's resolution for 2026? He's like, same as last year, bitch. I didn't finish. He's like, it was rough. I need to catch up.
It was a rough year.
So then I sent that to my sister-in-law. I was like, with love, I'm sending you this because this is so me. It's like, what's your goals for this year? Same as last year. Okay? It didn't happen. So we're trying again.
We're trying again. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, those are our New Year's resolutions. That is our wish list for 2026, if you will.
Yes.
Kind of. So
kind of, sort of. Simple, to the point.
Right.
As far as Taylor updates, not that much going on. We got another Fate of Ophelia remix.
Which like all these people in the comments being like, nobody asked for this. I'm like, no, I asked for this.
Yeah, Sarah is ready.
I am buying them all for 69 cents on iTunes. I don't care. I will buy it. Okay.
She has all the remixes.
They're going on my workout playlist. I listen to them on repeat sometimes if I'm in a mood. Like, I want them all. Yeah. But also, like, especially this last one, it kind of seems like she's teaming up with some of these like smaller artists who like put one out on like TikTok or whatever. And then she's kind of like sanctioning them, being like, hey, I love your remix. Let's put it out.
Yeah.
So like, I'd be really interested to find out like how much money are these guys making from these?
I'm also wondering when's the second single coming out, because it's been a while that Fate of I mean, it's dominating the charts still, but I'm just like, when are we getting Opalite?
Oh yeah, that was
there were rumors about a music video being shot. And we're still here waiting. So I feel like it should happen soon.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Fate of Ophelia becomes Taylor's longest leading Hot 100 hit, surpassing Antihero.
Yeah. It's been on for a while.
Yeah. So it's her top number 1 hit that she's ever had.
And part of me wonders, is it that long because she's not pushing out a single like quickly after it? Do you know what I mean?
I mean, it's true because she's just going to be competing with herself. So they might wait until Ophelia starts to drop, because if it doesn't drop, why ruin a good thing?
Right, yeah.
Because we know Taylor cares about stuff like that.
I do think the next single is Opalite.
Oh, yeah.
That's my guess. I mean, there are definitely other songs off this album, but like that to me is the most like music video content. Like it,
I would guess, yeah.
Yeah. Also, other than that, like she went out to dinner with the Haim sisters and Somber. I don't know how to say his name.
I think it's just Somber.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I pronounced it.
Yeah.
And we know that because they all walked out of the club or out of the restaurant with sourdough bread that we know is hers. So
yeah, she gifted all of them sourdough bread.
Love it.
So she's still on that sourdough life.
She's not messing around.
I can't wait to find out what her next baking fixation is going to be.
I know. I feel like sourdough is sort of a fixed thing, though. I feel like once you get into sourdough, it's hard to leave.
Yeah.
I don't know.
She should make sourdough bagels if she hasn't already.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah. That was the one thing I made a little bit when I had a sourdough starter for a brief period of time.
Yeah.
I made sourdough bagels and tomato jam. Have you ever had tomato jam?
I love tomato jam.
It's so good.
It's delicious. Yes.
Tomato is technically a fruit.
If you're thinking yuck, give it a try.
Yeah.
Give it a try.
Mm-hmm.
Should we get into wish list?
I guess that's why we're here.
I guess that's why we're here, guys. Okay, so wish list. Life of a Showgirl, October 3rd, 2025. Written and produced by Taylor, Max Martin, and Shellback as per usual. Fountain quill or glitter gel pen. We have opposite opinions here.
Slightly opposite, yeah.
So I say 30% fountain, 70% glitter.
Oh, sorry. We're on the same then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read that wrong in our notes. No, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like, it's not like as glittery as other glitter gel pen, but I feel like it's mostly glitter because, and like not even that fountain penny, because these lyrics are very straightforward.
Uh-huh.
Like there's not a whole lot of poetic things, like poetic stuff going on here.
No. The verses are straight to the point. The choruses are right to the point, but it's definitely glitter. So
yeah. Yeah. Maybe it's just a glitter gel pen. Maybe it is.
I don't know, like talking about Palme d'Or, I don't know.
But like literally imagine Taylor writing in her journal with a glitter gel pen. Like, I want to marry Travis. Travis Kelce.
With like a fuzzy top. Yeah.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And like, what are our kids' names going to be?
Maybe it is just a glitter.
You know?
Okay, I'm going to say 90% glitter, 10% fountain. There's a hint of fountain.
Okay.
But it's mostly glitter. We know this.
Yeah. All right. I agree. Okay.
Okay, sister song related album. What did you say?
So originally I said Midnight Rain because like way back when this album came out, I remember thinking like, oh, this is kind of like a sister song because in Midnight Rain, she's like, I don't want to get married yet. I'm busy getting like bossed up, right?
Yeah.
And in this song, she's already bossed up and she's like, all I want is to marry you and have kids. It's like, I did all the things.
Right.
And now I'm ready. Now all I have left is to get married and have the family and stuff. But then working on it, I was like, wait, I think this is actually the prophecy because both things are like about a wish list, right? The wishes for her life.
Mm-hmm.
But the prophecy is from this place of desperation, like, God, please give me someone, right? Whereas this one is coming from a place of happiness and realizing that like all she needs and wants is a life with this person that she's found already. She's like, oh, like all I need is you. And I just like wish that we could just like have a house with a basketball hoop and like get married and have kids. Like that's literally all I need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
I get it.
That's what I'm thinking.
I said Paper Rings because like similar sentiment of like, I don't need the physical things. I mean, in the song, she literally goes through the list of like things that other people want, including physical things, rewards, like, you know, accolades, you know, having a body or whatever. And she's just like, I don't need all that. I just want to be with you, which is kind of the idea of Paper Rings.
Yeah.
But like low key, I love that people read Paper Rings as such like a diss against
calling Joe poor.
The Joe Alwyn is poor joke is like
Yeah.
started with Paper Rings. But similar idea. So that's sort of what I went with.
Yeah.
And then we both said that Lover is the related album.
Yeah. And I think in general, like I was listening to Honey the other day, and I really feel like this album is what she tried to do with Lover.
Yeah. It
You
just
know?
isn't riddled with anxiety.
Yeah, it doesn't have the anxiety, but also even like sonically, like I feel like Lover, she tried to have this like kind of like
Old
bubblegum pop,
school, yeah.
like slightly different production than like what she had done before, but in this like thinking of like Me and the music video for Me, whereas this time she did it with Max Martin and Shellback, and it actually like lands.
It hit different.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also think that like there's like tastes of like old school nostalgic like 60s like Motown in this album, and there's a little bit of that in Lover. Like even the song Lover, it's that old school sort of like love song.
Yeah.
The production isn't quite the same, but I could see it leaning that way if they had different producers in the booth, you know?
Yeah. And this album's much more sonically cohesive than Lover, too. Even though, like, each song has its own flavor, but it has that, like, we've talked about the bass and the drums and the, like, weird jazzy stuff thrown in that creates this cohesiveness throughout the album.
Yeah. I think that well, if I were to rank albums, like Lover is pretty low for me.
Same.
So
honestly, I forget about it half the time.
And like I'm like maybe I'll have a renaissance with Lover. Like maybe it'll be whatever. Like there are obviously bops off of Lover. I mean, Cruel Summer. Are you kidding me? Like
yeah,
but it is one of those
Street,
things
Daylight.
where it's like, yeah, there's great songs, but like cohesively as a whole, it ranks pretty low for me.
And the number of skips on it is very high. It's not a no
for
skip
Taylor.
album.
Yeah.
Right.
So let's get to personal associations with the song.
Okay. Why don't you go first?
Okay. This is one of my favorite songs, like this and Honey. I just think it's super sweet. If you get it, you get it. And if you don't, you don't. Like this song and Honey, it's like if you're in your lover girl era, like you'll understand. So like the people who really dislike Showgirl as a whole.
Right.
I feel like sometimes an album hits because it hits you right where you're at. Right? Like if you have gone through a gaslighting, ghosting situation and you have Tortured Poets Department fall into your lap, of course you are going to deeply resonate with like all the songs, right?
Right.
And like I feel like everyone else could now, of course, after another album has come out, we look back at the one before it and Tortured Poets, we're like, wow, that's a masterpiece because there's so much going on in there. But like if you're not in a good space, you're not going to like a lot of Showgirl. You're just not going to connect with it. You're not going to, you know, the Lover, Sweetie Pie girl songs like Wishlist, Honey, Opalite. Like you're just going to be like, this is so frothy and stupid. Where are my sad songs? Because that's where you're at. And like that makes sense. But I just feel like if you are in that place, you're like, this is great. I love this. So and I guess like I'm in a good place with like that because I think that this song is so romantic and sweet.
Right.
So that's where I'm at.
That makes sense. So I also love this one, but it's more like upper mid tier for me. Like Showgirl for me has like 3 or 4 songs that are like my favorites. three that are like the bottom, and then the whole middle, everything's
huge.
like, it's huge. Yeah. Everything's kind of on the same level. And Wishlist falls into that category for me. But yeah, I think like the vibes are fantastic. It's so sweet. And it's another one where I was blindsided by the hate for it because I'm like,
oh my God,
how do you not understand this song?
We'll get into it.
And this album in general for me, like Tortured Poets was so much to unpack. Like it took us, we're still figuring out that album like years later. And I felt like we listened to Showgirl, together. And then I like listened to it in the car. And I was like, yeah, I get it. I got it.
Yeah, I got it.
We got it.
Noted.
There's nothing to unpack here at all. Like it's all laid out for us. It's not complicated. And I think, again, that's like part of the reason why it got some of the hate coming on the heels of Tortured Poets. We're like, this is so surface level. But I don't think it's necessarily that it's surface level. It's just like uncomplicated.
It's to the point. It's clear cut. It's decisive. It's exactly what it says it is. Like,
yeah.
It's kind of like a healthy relationship. Crazy.
Crazy.
Meanwhile, like if you've been in a situation where you've been like broken up with and ghosted or like gaslighted or just like strung along, of course you're going to have a lot of insane poetic thoughts to say, like,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway. So getting into the folklore of the song, like Taylor's told us a lot about this song herself. And then, of course, we're going to talk about the backlash of this song. I feel like a lot of the backlash of Showgirl can kind of be directed at this song. Don't you think? Like
a lot of it, yeah.
A lot of the like trad wife conversation could be sort of pointed back to this specific song for multiple reasons.
And the like racism,
right?
Quote unquote.
So we'll get into all that.
Yeah.
So do you want to read what Taylor has said about Wishlist?
Yeah. So in her Showgirl movie thing, she said, the song Wishlist is one that I love so much because it's really romantic. It's got a lot of really vivid imagery in it of just different wishes people have for how they want their lives to be, how they want it to feel, how they want it to look. And it's just very accepting of all of those things, like whatever anybody wants with their life. But then in the chorus, it's just like, but this is what I want. I hope they get what they want. This is what I want. This is my wish list. And I just love this one. It just makes me feel like I'm flying through clouds.
Yeah, like Taylor's very clearly telling us that like she's in a stage in her life where like she's bossed up, but she's ready to settle down. Like marriage and kids is on her wish list.
Right.
It doesn't diss the other things.
Nope.
It's just
it does not.
what she wants. Right.
Right. And when she was on Jimmy Fallon, she said that the chorus of this song is like the happy place that she goes to in her mind, which is inspired by the movie Happy Gilmore, because that's where like he has to go to that happy place in his mind when he's like stressed on the golf course or whatever. But that is like kind of a funny, interesting detail because she wrote and recorded this album in like the summer of 2024 or starting in the summer. And Happy Gilmore was filmed in the fall of 2024. And Travis has a small role in Happy Gilmore 2. I'm sorry. So it makes sense that like she and Travis were probably like rewatching the original Happy Gilmore and like talking about it. And it was like on her mind. And then she kind of goes to this place of like, oh, what's my happy place? And then like writing a song. And the sound of this song is even kind of like going
dreamy
into this, this like place in your mind that is just, all your wishes in life and things like that.
Clouds and butterflies. Yeah.
Yeah. And then also in one of her radio interviews that she did, she said that this was her favorite song on the album. She said, I think it might be Wishlist. It's a song that was actually the last song that we made for the album. It was the song where after we finished it, I was like, oh, we're done. We're good. We're done with this. This is the final piece.
So it's interesting this is the last song that she wrote. Because I believe the first song that she wrote was Honey.
Yeah, the first one they like recorded at least was Honey.
Yeah, where she was like, this is an entirely different thing, like whatever, which still makes me think that they were recording vault tracks for Reputation and then also piggybacking some of these other songs onto there. Do you know what I mean?
Maybe.
When we get into Honey, we'll pull that quote.
Okay.
But yeah. So backlash against this song. a lot of people initially who did not like this album were starting to call Taylor a trad wife for expressing her desire to get married and have kids, which, like, as a reminder, Rolling Stone has released an article that is done with like research and data that shows that Taylor Swift's last album sparked bizarre accusations of Nazism, and it was a coordinated attack. So let me just like go into a brief summary of that really quick.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a quote from that. We'll link it in the show notes, but this is a quote. Online discussion of the album turned extreme in many ways that many found bewildering. There were social media posts accusing Swift of implicitly endorsing the MAGA movement, trad wife gender roles, and even white supremacy and dog whistle references. While the far right have been known to claim the singer as an icon of Aryan greatness despite her record of championing Democrats and liberal values, and President Trump himself has blithely and disingenuously shared AI-generated imagery depicting her as a supporter. This is a noticeable divergent trend, an apparent attempt to cancel Swift for the presumed affiliations. Then later in the article, this is where it gets into like the more like coordinated attack side of things.
Mm-hmm.
New research from the GUDEA, a behavioral intelligence startup that tracks how much reputation-damaging claims emerge and go viral on the internet, on a white paper examining more than 24,000 posts and 18,000 accounts across 14 digital platforms between October 4th, the day after The Life of a Showgirl came out, and October 18th, shared first with Rolling Stone, the firm concluded that just 3.77% of accounts drove 28% of the conversation around Swift and the album during that period. This cluster of evidently coordinated accounts pushed the most inflammatory Swift content, including conspiracy theories about her supposed Nazi allusions, callouts for her theoretical MAGA ties, and posts that framed her relationship with fiancé Travis Kelce as inherently conservative or trad, with all of this framed as leftist critique.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a coordinated online attack that spread from literally like a small percentage of these like fake accounts that pushed this movement claiming to be leftists. This was a coordinated attack.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and like one of the things they were saying was calling her racist for saying have a couple kids, got the whole block looking like you. This is where again I'm like, what? Like this obviously just means like
trad wife. Yeah.
Yeah, like
go ahead.
It obviously just means that she wants a whole block full of kids running around who look like Travis. And
Her
it's
partner.
also like kind of referencing how all of Jason and Kylie's kids look like Jason.
Right.
You know?
The Kelce genes are strong. We know this.
Yeah, like she just wants like a basketball team of Kelce's. Like she's not saying I want to live on a block with only white families who look like me.
Right.
She's saying I want a lot of kids who look like you.
And then tying the illusions that like if you want marriage and kids is like a trad wife, like conservative thing. I'm like, isn't like feminism basically embracing all women of like all lifestyles? Right. Like,
yeah, it's like
anyway.
Since when is like getting married like take away your feminist card?
Yeah. And like, again, this is the woman who wrote The Man. Like, this is the woman who is like staunchly supported Democratic candidates since basically like what, 2016? Yeah. So it was insane then. And I remember reading this and being like, are people okay? Like,
right. Yeah.
The discourse was crazy.
But even like people taking offense as if she was dissing all of the other wishes that people have in the song. And I'm like, are you listening to this song? Like,
right.
It's just another bad faith lesson and critique because like she literally says, I hope they get what they want. Like, where in this song does she say those people are dumb for wanting those things?
She says
all I need is you.
They deserve what they want. I hope like I send them nothing but well wishes.
Right.
Okay, what? Like
and I feel like I could almost see her saying like, I better put something in like that so people know that I'm not dissing these other wishes. Like the whole point is everyone has different wishes and here are mine. And even when she does that, people are like, well, she thinks I'm so dumb for wanting 3 kids. sorry, wanting 3 dogs that I call my kids. Like
right. It's like that's not actually what she's saying at all. Actually,
no.
and then like people saying that there's no way that's that's the only thing that she wants. Like she's so into her like billions of dollars. Like she's obviously money hungry. There's obviously other things that she wants. Okay, like that may be true that she has other desires, but like this is the one thing that she doesn't have.
Right.
Duh.
Like those other things are not on her wish list because she already has them.
Right.
Why would they be on her wish list?
She wants to boss up, settle down, and be left alone with her significant other, their kids, on a basketball hoop. She doesn't have that. Duh. It's a fairy tale land.
That's why it's on her wish list. Like having the whole world leave them alone.
Yeah.
Probably not going to happen. Okay. Just like for the average person, like winning an Oscar is probably not very likely for you. But like for Taylor Swift, her version of that is having people leave her alone. Okay.
Yeah.
And we're guilty of that.
Yeah.
We're also guilty. But that's the whole point. It's like she already has the Grammys. She already has the award-winning tour and like tons of #1 hits. She doesn't need money. She doesn't need a house. Like what she wants is this life with Travis. And that's what feels like amazing and special to her. And if you can't understand that from the song, I don't understand. And like, it wasn't like just these like trad wife bot things going on because like I love the podcast Every Single Album. The 2 hosts are Nora and Nathan. But like Nora, at least initially, had kind of a lot of beef with this song. And like even listening to the podcasts about it, she never fully explained
like,
why
what is it?
She had
what
beef.
is it?
And then like at one point Nathan said to her like, "What do you want from this woman?" And I was like,
seriously.
"Thank you, Nathan." Like,
what do you want?
Right. And like I love Nora, like but she's for whatever reason this song rubbed her the wrong way.
Yeah. And I feel like the exacerbation of like bots and things like pushing this like, oh, it's so like traddy. Oh, it's so like conservative, blah, blah, blah. Like, like guys, like that probably feeds into your own like dislike of whatever this song is. But like, I like from proof, like, I don't understand what you want from her. Like,
right. And I think Nora even admitted at one point that like this probably has more to do with like her than like Taylor Swift, but
on the opposite side, if she listed all the physical items that she wanted because she's a billionaire, y'all would be mad too. So
exactly. So or like, if she listed like different awards and accolades she wanted, it's like, don't you have enough already? You know, like,
oh, you're a billionaire, you're a capitalist.
Winning.
Yeah.
But yeah,
also, I just have to say when this like whole thing was uncovered about like this scheme to like basically take her down, it just made me think of one quote. Everyone who dogpiled had all this commentary to say, piggybacking on canceling her again. When it's burn the bitch, they're shrieking. And when the truth comes out, it's quiet. Okay? All of a sudden now you guys don't have anything to say about Life of a Showgirl. Okay? Right. That's all I have to say about it. Period.
And the fate of Ophelia is still #1. So
let's talk about it. Yeah.
Right.
All right. Shall we get into it with verse 1?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go.
They want that yacht life under chopper blades. They want those bright lights and Balenci shades and a fat ass with a baby face. They want it all. They want that complex female character. They want that critical smash palm d'or and an Oscar on their bathroom floor. They want it all.
All
right. Yeah, that beginning is like so like I'm going up into the clouds into my little happy place, like she was mentioning,
Yeah.
But yeah, like all these wishes are basically like things that other people desire, like a yacht life under chopper blades. First of all, it reminds me of the Man music video, like the Leonardo DiCaprio character on like the yacht,
Yeah, it makes me think of somebody like going to the Hamptons, but like they take their helicopter to the Hamptons house.
Right, that like jet set millionaire.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Those bright lights and Balenci shades. Like, I'm guessing bright lights is probably like either like stage lights or
Cameras.
paparazzi camera flashes.
Celebrity and fame.
But love that she shortens Balenciaga to Balenci.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, people were like a little bit confused by that. So I don't think that's like a thing. I think she just did that for the song.
Oh, it's definitely used. Like,
Oh, it
I've
is?
heard students
Okay.
call Balenci. Yeah, Balenciaga
Oh,
is like
okay.
Balenci. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Maybe it's like a rap thing. Like, maybe other rap artists have used it. I don't know. But
maybe.
a fat ass with a baby face, like this unattainable, like picture perfect body. Women are ageless. But you have that, like, you know.
Everyone getting those like BBLs and like Botox.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Still look like you're like 22.
Yeah. I like this one about the complex female character, like whether that's like an actress who wants that role to play, or, you know, the next part is about like an award for a director. So is it like a director working on a film that has like a complex female character, and how that
they
is
want that
like
story, that juicy thing to bite into.
And it's like, unfortunately, complex female characters are still a little harder to come by.
Hard to find.
Right. So, like, especially when you think of an actress, like, getting to play a role like that versus, like, the female character who doesn't pass the Bechdel test kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember us, like, searching what the heck is a Palme d'Or, like, when our first listen, like, what is this? But it's the highest prize awarded at the Cannes Film Festival for Best Feature Film. So
to the director of the Best Feature Film.
Right.
Yeah. And an
Very
Oscar
prized.
on their bathroom floor, like you have so many Oscars, it's not a big deal. You have one on the bathroom floor. And that was an Easter egg in the Ophelia music video. And like the last scene, when she's in the bathtub, there's an Oscar on the floor.
Right.
Yeah.
So again, this is like everyone being like, this is what people want. And then Taylor's going to tell us what she wants in the chorus. So here we go.
And they should have what they want. They deserve what they want. Hope they get what they want. I just want you. Have a couple kids, got the whole block looking like you. We tell the world to leave us the fuck alone, and they do. Wow. Got me dreaming about a driveway with a basketball hoop. Bust up, settle down, got a wish list. I just want you.
See, like, this chorus is where Max Martin is just like Max Martining, you know?
Yeah. And I feel like Taylor is kind of like T-Swizzling, you know?
Yeah,
like,
I just feel like this is so poppy. It's so, like...
But the, like, rhythm of it and stuff, and the... I don't know, like, something about, like, the flair of this, the, like, confidence of it feels kind of like a rap.
It feels, like, slightly syncopated, like, off the beat, but it's also, like, fluffy and, like, 2000s pop. It's so good.
Right. But that's why, like, it's also kind of funny because the vibe of this song, but then she's, like, saying, I want to get married and, like, have a basketball hoop. And you're like, what?
Yeah, it's like, I'm getting mixed messages, but I'm into it.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Again, I just want to remind people, she says they should have what they want. They deserve what they want. Hope they get what they want. So Taylor's not talking down to people who want those things. She's like, go for it. Like, I understand that desire. Like, maybe she's even had a taste of it herself, but like, she kind of knows what she wants now. She like knows better for herself. She's like, that's great. But like, what I want is something else.
Yeah. But like, I don't even read it as like her thinking of things she used to want. Like, I really do take it at face value that, like, here's some things that people wish for.
Yeah.
And then here's what I want. Like, I feel like she's not even making a statement about, like, here's what I used to want. And now all I need is this. Do you know what I mean?
I think she's living in a world where, like, those things are, like, people's, like, desires, and she understands it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think she also like doesn't judge people for wanting that. Like,
yeah, I guess that's what I mean. It's like there's like no judgment on herself or anyone else in this song.
Right.
Yeah. At least, yeah, that's how I take it. Which again is why I'm like, why do people not understand this?
Yeah. I think people are looking for reasons to be upset at her. That's the truth. So
Yeah, always. Right.
always.
But it is kind of reminiscent of like this line from the prophecy.
You don't want money, just someone who wants my company.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other end of the spectrum, like in terms of sonically, it reminds me of the same sentiment of Paper Rings. So it's this one too. So it's like, I don't really need anything else. I just want you, which is exactly what that lyric is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Have a couple kids, got the whole block looking like you. Like we talked about earlier, like she wants a bunch of mini Travis Kelce's running around.
Mm-hmm.
We tell the world to leave us the fuck alone, and they do. And like, God, this is why I'm like, this is definitely on her wish list because no way is this happening in real life.
It's a fairy tale. Yeah.
That is the most fairy tale line out of this whole thing. Like they could have a driveway with a basketball hoop and kids, but people will not leave them alone.
No.
That's for sure.
Never. No. And I love, wow.
Oh my God. The like Owen Wilson, wow.
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 Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, this like white picket fence, Americana dream of just being like the exact opposite of a jet set life that she lives now, kind of with touring and, you know, Travis being in the NFL. Like it's so suburban and mundane. Which
and
is
that's
like
a good point. Like the fact that she wrote this while on tour.
Right.
Probably makes it even more like, oh God, like wouldn't it be nice if I was just in one place with Travis and we had kids and just had like a normal life?
Yeah. It was a fantasy for her at that time, you know?
Right. Yeah. Not to say that she like hated being on tour or anything like that, but again, you can want two opposing things at the same time.
Right. It's escapism in a lot of ways. But like, yeah, like it's kind of like heartwarming that the woman who literally like jet sets and does everything that she could do and own anything that she could ever want. Like basically once, but like what most of our childhood life was like if you were living in suburbia in like the 2000s. Do you know what I mean? Like,
and that's why like
it's humbling to think about.
Because like I did grow up with a basketball hoop in my driveway. So like I can picture this so well. And yeah, like it is so like suburban and mundane. And like when I think about my life compared to Taylor Swift's, I'm like, my life is so boring. But I did grow up with that. And it's something I would also like for my life. But for me, like it's on my wish list for like different reasons.
Right.
But for her, it's like this lofty wish list goal because the life that her life has become is so far removed from that like suburban life that she grew up with.
Right.
At least for the earliest part of her life.
Like Taylor basically wants what all of us had or like hope to eventually have in our lives, which is like kind of sweet, you know?
She's just like us.
Yeah, she's just like us. Yeah.
She's just like us. So
boss up, settle down. Like
I love that line, boss up, and the way boss up, settle down. Like again, it feels a little bit like a rap line or something, but the play on words with boss up, settle down. And like she is bossed up. Travis is bossed up. So now it's time to settle down. Like that's the only thing left to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like these things sound like no big deal to us, but like the whole point is that like Taylor, like this is an out of reach sort of wish for her, especially if she was touring, you know, like and she's Taylor Swift, like she's never going to have a quote unquote normal life where people leave her alone and like, you know, she has a basketball hoop and her kids just live like, you know, a suburban dream.
I think the other thing that's important about this song being on this album about Travis compared to her past relationships is that this is probably the first time that she can actually picture it with the person that she's with.
And she feels safe enough to express it.
Right. And feels like they're on the same page about it.
That.
Right?
It's not like disguised, like playing it cool. They're going to say, I don't want to be your wife. Like, I'm chill, like whatever. She can actually say what she wants.
Again, back to the marriage drama. Like, and I think that is probably like the underlying thing going on in our minds. Like the first time we listen to this, where it's like, oh my God, she's writing this simple song about how she just wants to get married and have kids with this person in a way that we've like never heard her express it. And we also know inherently like Travis wants that too.
Right.
Like, and they might have that to some extent, not the people leaving them alone, but like, yeah, like, and having her write this song in such like this open way of like, this is what I want. And I hope I get what I want, you know?
And just being so transparent is like refreshing. Like, especially after Tortured Poets, where we were like, what does it mean? What does it mean? You know, like, it's like she's literally just telling you what she wants.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Verse 2.
They want that freedom, living off the grid. They want those 3 dogs that they call their kids. And that good surf, no hypocrites. They want it all. They want a contract with Real Madrid. They want that spring break that was fucking lit. And then that video taken off the internet. They want it all.
Verse 2. I love verse 2.
Yeah. That bass.
Yeah. They want that freedom living off the grid. Those 3 dogs that they call their kids. That good surf, no hypocrites. Like, to me, I'm picturing a California, like, hipster couple living in a shack near the beach with their dogs, and they go surfing every morning.
That's the dream. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. And like, that's like one brand of person where like, that's their dream life.
Sure is.
And that's great for them.
And another brand of person is they want a contract with Real Madrid. It's like, shout out to the professional athletes who have their dreams and goals, which I'm sure Travis has of his own, you know? Like, like all these different like lofty goals that people have. It's like, she's just like listing it off.
And that video taken off the internet could like maybe be a Kim K reference, but also like just a human living in 2026 right now. Like, we all have like that photo or video that we wish was like taken down. Like,
and
please
the internet, the internet lives forever. So we're all like, if that could just be wiped off, that would be pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, we really did just post like we did not care when we were younger.
Right.
So it's realistic.
Which, okay, I have to bring this up. Back to heated rivalry. Okay. The one thing that I love, like I said, I love the 2 main actors so much, but Connor Story, who plays Rozanov, the Russian guy, he left up videos of himself on YouTube when he's like 10 years old.
Okay.
And I saw an interview where he was talking about it, how he had people reach out to him being like, hey, like, I have contacts, like, I can totally get that removed. And he was like, no, keep it up. He's like, keep it up. And but like, they are amazing videos, because he starts it out like, well, I want to be an actor, so I figured I might as well start a YouTube video or YouTube channel and get used to being on camera.
I mean,
and honestly, these videos are iconic because he has like an existential crisis. He's talking about the Katy Perry song Firework, where she says, do you ever feel like a plastic bag? And he's like, honestly, no, I don't. What do you even mean by that? What? And then he just asks like all these questions. But I thought it was so sweet how he kind of was saying like, I want to honor the kid that I was at that time.
Right. I'm not trying to erase.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, that's me. That, and like, and how fun to like look at me then and look at me now. And
right.
Like, this is what I mean, Laura. This show and the people involved, you have to get into it. Okay. But like,
I will trust and believe.
I would die for these people, Laura. Oh my God. But anyway, so Anyway, just relating to this lyric, he had people like offer to take those videos off the internet for him, and he was like, "No, I'm good.
Nah.
Just keep them
Yeah.
up."
Love it.
So sweet. All right, well, we should jump to the bridge.
Yes, let's jump to the bridge. Here we go.
I made wishes on all of the stars. Please, God, bring me a best friend who I think is hot. I thought I had it right once, twice, but I did not. You caught me off my guard. I hope I get what I want, 'cause I know what I want.
It's so hard to cut off. Yeah.
I know. Shout out to the syncopation in this bridge.
Oh, yeah, dude. And the rhyme scheme with it is so good.
Yeah.
Stars, God, hot. It's like one snot. It's like slightly askew. It's great.
Yeah, like this is the kind of stuff that I think people who don't know a lot about music, they're like, I know this is really good and it's like earwormy and there's something about it, but like this is part of Taylor Swift's genius that she writes things like this.
I also think if you just like read off those lyrics, I made wishes on all the stars. Please, God, please bring me a best friend who is hot. I thought I had it right once, but I did not. You caught me off my guard. Someone be like, that's not very good. I'm like, did you hear it in the context of the song?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I made wishes on all of the stars. We got to talk again about the prophecy. Basically the whole chorus of the prophecy. So here's that.
Yep.
Please, I've been on my knees. Change the prophecy. Don't want money, just someone who wants my company. Let it once be me. Who do I have to speak to about if they can redo the prophecy?
Yeah, she was making wishes.
Mm-hmm. She was like, who do I have to
begging on her
speak
knees.
to? I'll talk to anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Please, God, bring me a best friend who I think is hot. She's so real for that.
It's so simple, right? Like, that's all we all want.
That's what we all want, right?
Yeah. And of course, I thought I had it right once, twice, but I did not.
I did not, okay? I was wrong.
And we did not get that one right. Yeah. But like, as confirmed from the Aerosmith documentary, she said she went through 2 breakups during this tour. So once, twice, I did not, was Joe and Maddie.
Which, like, have you heard the album called The Tortured Pose Department?
Have you heard The Tortured Pose Department?
Should we talk about your mortal enemy or not?
Oh, okay. We can briefly touch on this. Okay.
Are we going to name check or are we just going to be vague?
We're going to be vague. Okay. There is a creator on TikTok who at this point is just rage baiting me. It's not personal, but it feels personal. Okay.
It feels personal.
This creator blew up because their first video that really sort of dug into this was the black dog. And her theory was, it's a her, was that essentially that initially Taylor Swift never had a relationship with Matty Healy. That the black dog was about Joe Alwyn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So,
which like
that, I remember watching that and being like, okay, that's interesting. But then it just sort of snowballed in that everything that Taylor wrote on The Tortured Poets was never about Matty Healy. They were collaborators and musicians, but they were not serious. They did not date. None of it. Despite so much evidence.
Here's my thing. If you want to argue that a song is about Joe and not about Matty,
sure,
I'll listen to it. Like, I think there are plenty of songs where you can make arguments one way or the other. But don't tell me that she never dated Matty Healy.
Insanity. Yeah. So even like when anyway, and then it dovetailed into like now we're talking about like basically these fake poetry books that she claimed were written by Taylor. Which if you're in the lore, like there's a lot of books that have cropped up that like definitely sort of like piggyback on like themes of Taylor that like are written with like vague names, and people are like, this could be written by Taylor Swift, and she definitely believed them. So anyway, anytime she pops up on my feed, I just have to be like, I'm gonna watch it and I'm gonna not comment, and I'm just gonna think to myself, you're just wrong. You're just wrong.
We learned.
And like,
yeah.
And like now, even with the documentary and Taylor herself saying that she had 2 breakups, it's like,
well, and apparently now this
girl.
creator is like, okay, I was wrong. They dated, but it wasn't serious. And here's why. Listen, I used to think it wasn't serious with Maddie Healy, but we got like 2 songs into Tortured Poets, and I was like, oh, I was
actually,
wrong.
You're right.
I was wrong.
And like,
I thought I had it right once, twice, but I did not.
Right. And the beauty of Taylor's music is that you can read into it as much as you want, you know, all those things you can learn about, you know, all the lore you want. It's poetry, basically. So read into it how you will. But flat out denying something that she herself has said is crazy. Like, crazy. Anyway,
that's our little tangent.
That's our tangent. And if you want to guess who it is, you can comment it. And then I don't know if I'll confirm.
You probably know who we're talking about, but
yeah.
But our fandom, we all have our own opinions. You know?
It's just her opinions and mine are the stark opposite every single time. So And to me, it's just like this. To me, it just reads delusional, because I'm just like, you're just not even like willing to hear other people out. Like, if someone wants to sit with me and say, actually, I think it's this, I'll hear you out. Let's go. Like, we can go toe for toe. It'll be fun. But like, it's so crazy. It's so crazy.
Yeah. Anyway, Taylor thought she had it right once and again with Maddie Healy. That's obviously who she's talking about. Is Joe and Maddie. Okay.
You caught me off my guard. And he did, Travis Kelce.
He did. Like, she had no idea this man was coming. And I think even when she like went to meet him, never would have expected it to turn out this way.
Yeah, God bless Andrea.
God bless Andrea. Andrea Swift. She's the mastermind.
Yeah.
She's probably the main reason this happened.
In the Eras Tour documentary, she talks about how she basically was the one who was like, actually, I think you should give this guy a try. He's really cute. He likes his mom.
Andrea's like, I did my research and I love him. So I'd like him to be my son-in-law. Let's make this happen.
She's like, what you're doing isn't working.
Yeah.
Try it my way. Yeah.
She's like, listen to me. I am your manager. And now I'm going to manage your dating life, because apparently I should have been this whole time.
Yeah. And you know what, Andrea? You led her to the right way. Okay?
Yeah. But you know what? They met at the perfect time. I truly believe that she and Travis met when they were supposed to meet. It all worked out like they were supposed to.
Have you seen the, I don't know, the TikTok montages of like, what if these two menaces met in 2016?
You said
and
that
it was
to me,
like
yes.
Leechella and then like Travis and like his early, oh my God. And I was like, yeah, chaos. Absolute chaos.
God. Chaos demons.
Yeah. They would not have, I don't know. And the maturity has happened at the right time for both of them to meet. So
also, earlier today, I saw something about like Page 6, which is not reputable at all, is saying that Taylor and Travis apparently said that the wedding planning is on hold. And so people now think that they're like about to break up.
Okay, calm down. Calm down.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it for a second.
No.
But if they break up in 2 months, you can tell me I was wrong. Okay?
Yeah. And I'm not going to be delusional about it. Okay?
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
God. Okay. Oh, wait. So we have to. Okay. She says, I hope I get what I want because I know what I want.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen other people point this out, that she doesn't say, and I should have what I want. I deserve what I want, like she says for everyone else. Mm-hmm. She says, I hope I get what I want because I know what I want. Which is like, I hope that she doesn't think that she like doesn't deserve it. Like, what if she's thinking in a way of like, how dare I ask for more in this life that I have?
See, I just read this as like confidence. Like, it's like, I know what I want. Like, I know I deserve it. I know that I know exactly, my eye is on the prize here. Like, that's how I read it. But
yeah. Also, like, I'm sure she would get crap for saying I deserve what I want.
True.
But, and yeah, it's also probably just a choice to like change the wording a little bit. But it is like a little sad though, if you think about it, the way she's saying, like, I hope they all get what they want. They deserve what they want. And for her, she's just like, I hope I get it. You know?
I think it's just, yeah.
Yeah. But overall, this is like a super happy song. So I don't think it is necessarily meant to be that way.
No. All right. Well, let's just vibe out for chorus 3 and hear some of these ad libs.
Max Martin ad libs. Let's do it.
Uh-huh.
I just want you. Have a couple kids, got the whole block looking like. We tell the world to leave us the fuck alone, and they do. Wow, got me dreaming about a driveway with a basketball. Ooh, bust up, settle down, got a wish list. I just want you. And we could have a couple kids, got the whole block looking like you. We tell the world to leave us the fuck alone, and they do. Wow. And now you got me dreaming about a driveway with a basketball. Ooh, bust up, settle down, got a wish list. I just want you.
Perfect.
That might be like my favorite section of the whole song. Is that
The final, yeah.
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 It's
good
so
stuff.
good. All right. So like music theory stuff, we kind of talked about this, but like the songs, it feels like kind of like R&B inspired, so like a little bit rappy in some ways.
Early 2000s pop, slightly influenced. It's got a great bass line, great syncopation. Like there's a lot of good stuff happening in this.
But it is kind of a funny juxtaposition of this, like, the vibe of this song is like very cool. It's very like sunglasses on. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like, I know what I want. But then you're like, I want a basketball hoop. It's like just a billionaire.
Marriage. Yeah.
Just a billionaire talking about getting married and having a basketball hoop. And you're, so it's like, it's kind of funny in that way.
Yeah.
You know? But also, hold on, I have to find this. Here we go. The music nerds love to point out the little chord switch up in the second verse, which is
with Real Madrid.
Yeah.
It's the best part.
Oh, they want a contract with Real Madrid. They want that spring break that was fucking lit, and then that video taken off the internet. They want it all.
Which is only elevated because of that bass line, man. That is such a good.
I love that part. But the one creator on TikTok I really like, her name's Lauren Ashley Smith. She's been like reacting to Taylor Swift songs. She talked about her ranking for this album, and she hates that part. She's like,
why? That's the best part.
What are we doing here? And I guess it kind of like takes her out of it a little bit. And like so many people in the comments like me are like, no, that's like the best part of the song.
No, that feels like I'm being elevated. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's funny how people have different reactions to that. And then I also wanted to play a clip of the acoustic version of this song because it's beautiful. But specifically,
it's so good. Yeah,
the violin. Okay, so let's appreciate this.
Boss up, settle down, got a wish list. I just want you. And we could have a couple kids, got the whole block looking like you. And we tell the world to leave us the fuck alone, and they do.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of people orchestrate this for their own like wedding entrances and stuff on TikTok, which is really cute too. It's a sweet song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff.
All right.
All
so
right. Favorite
lyrics and ratings.
All right. Here's mine. I just love that section because like that ad lib, it's like just reminds me of like Reputation, Max Martin, you know, like
yeah.
But also the sentiment of just being like, when you find the person that you're like, I really want to settle down with this person, you do that stupid fantasy in your head where you're like, what would it be like? What would our kids look like? Like, you know, wouldn't it be fun to like have like this huge gaggle of kids that like look and act just like you or me, or like they have my nose and they have like your like funny like thing that you do. You know what I mean? It's just a sweet sentiment. So
yeah.
Also, like Taylor announcing she wants kids. Like she wants marriage, she wants kids. So like big moment
And she's
for her.
always said that. She's always
but like
wanted that.
not musically the way that
not
this
in her,
does.
but in interviews over the years, she has said that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about your rating?
I gave this a 9.3. I already said it's like one of my favorite songs off the album, so it's good stuff.
Yeah. I give it an 8.9 out of 10. So still super high. But for me personally, it's just like not a 9, I guess. Almost. And
close.
Then very close. And then this is my favorite lyric.
Please, God, bring me a best friend who I think is hot.
Classic.
Yeah. I just love that line. I also love the syncopation there and everything. So,
yeah, it's good stuff. All right, this song is a recipe. We both sort of similar ideas.
Yeah.
Yours
do you want me to go first?
Yeah, yours kickstarted mine, so why don't you do yours first?
Okay. I said this song is handy snacks. So
you've talked about them before. Was it our old podcast? I feel like it was our old podcast. Yeah.
Yeah. I used to love them as a kid. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's like comes in a little package and you get like a little stack of crackers or like pretzel rods, and then at the other end of it is a little tub of like nacho cheese that you dip in.
The
or
good
like
stuff, yeah.
Or like it came with like this little plastic spreader if you got the crackers and you could, you know, scoop out the cheese and spread it on your cracker.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I lived for that stuff when I was a kid.
Those were so bougie if you had those.
I know. Like we didn't have them often, but when we did, I was like, oh God.
Yeah.
But to me, this is like the kind of snack that you hand to your kid in the back of the van on the way like to or from basketball practice or something. So to me, it's so like 90s childhood coded, which is like kind of what this song is like invoking of like that suburban dream, very 90s these days compared to the now times.
Now times.
Yeah. So, yeah. And I looked for a recipe for like homemade handy snacks and like came up empty.
Doesn't exist.
So, listen, you just need that processed cheese in a plastic tub with your little pretzel rods.
Yeah. And if you don't know what we're talking about, look it up. Maybe you do remember it. Okay, mine was another nostalgic treat. Mine is sweet tart candy hearts. So think like Valentine's Day, but not like the like traditional candy hearts that are kind of nasty. The sweet tart versions. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. I don't think I really had them as much.
They're definitely not the ones that like are the traditional, like they're thicker. They're not like that. They're just sweet tarts, basically.
Okay.
But they have like little sayings on them, and I could just see "I just want you" written on them. So
yeah. But are you talking about the ones that came in a little box and you'd always get them on Valentine's Day in elementary school?
Those are like the classic ones.
Okay.
The sweet tart ones like are better tasting.
Okay. Yeah, because the other ones are not very good.
But it's the same idea. No.
Yeah. Okay. I gotcha. Yeah, that's cute. Yeah, they say like, I love you.
Definitely.
It's
like, Valentine's Day, fluffy, cute, fun. The opposite of our next episode, which is going to be wood. Okay.
Oh. Yeah. Next episode is a little spicy.
Yeah. It'll be explicit. So if you're a child, don't listen to the next episode.
Right.
Which, I can't believe we're this far along in the album already, but here we are.
I know.
Let's sign off. So thank you guys so much for joining. And if you want to support the pod, give us a follow on TikTok and Instagram. We're at Blank Plate Pod. And make sure that you subscribe to us on YouTube as well.
Please. And you can check out our website at blankplatepodcast.com. Send us an email at blankplatepod@gmail.com or leave us a voicemail or text us at 717-382-8313 to share all of your Taylor thoughts.
And if you're enchanted by what we're doing here, support us on Patreon, which is linked on our show notes. You can go there directly at patreon.com/blankplatepodcast.
So I realized we need to add in here, like, our Patreon, we do a bonus episode every month. So in case,
on the 13th.
In case you've never heard us say that before, there's a bonus episode on the 13th of the month. We're doing Taylor's back catalog, kind of hopping around. So yeah. And until next time, we had the time of our lives with you.
And it's time to go.
So bye.
Bye.